you might have already noticed that there are some additional fields in some of the database views, and I want to show them to you in this video. These are called database calculations, basically, or I just call them that. And there are ways for you to do some basic calculations based on some of the values in your Notion database. So right here you see my revenue tracking database. And this is an actual database I use to track my revenue across online courses and other projects that I do. And you see a lot of numeric data, lots of numbers all over the place. So visitors, students, and all that kind of stuff. And down at the bottom, we have these values. And actually, if I click into one of these columns, you will see all the different options we have for calculating something. So in this column, for example, I could say I want the total sum of all these values at the top, and then it would show me that at the bottom. I could also say I want the minimum or the maximum. I want to count all the values, so we'll count up all the values, so how many rows I have in the database. In this case, it's 26. I want to count all the values, so all the fields that have values, so it will not count these two at the top, and many additional other options that you might want to use in some cases. And that's again really nice if you use Notion to calculate something, to have revenue tracking, or if you want to use it to manage your expenses. These are use cases where this comes in really, really handy, and it's really easy to set up. So I recommend you do that when you have the time for it. What's also really cool is that you can use this to calculate how many checkboxes in a table are checked as well. And this might be a really helpful option if you have, for example, a project management database that you use to track the progress of your project, or a task management database where you have lots and lots of to-dos and you want to track how many of those you actually have completed so far. So in here, I just added this demo property and I checked some of these boxes. And if I go down to the calculate area again, I can actually select the % checked or the % unchecked option. So if I click % checked, it will tell me that 34% of the checkboxes are currently checked. And if I check one more of them, you'll see how this will update to reflect the changes in percentages. This also works in the board view. In this case, you only have one of these per column. And so up here, you can select what you want to calculate. So you could say you want the minimum of, or the maximum number of students, for example, in my case. So that would be the maximum number of students I had in 1 month. Where do we have it? Here. And so you see my maximum number of students in a given month in 2021 was 567. This is again really helpful in many cases where you have lots and lots of numbers and lots and lots of data. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see each other in the next one.